Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check brought to you by Because Bitcoin. I'm Tommy. You also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Tucker, Max, and of course, Dr. Will's Outlook today, talking about all things financial markets, crypto, equities, and everything in between. It is FOMC week. I think it's even like a 2-day. I think Powell's even speaking for 2 days this week. So it's like you kind of get your extra share of Jerome Powell this week. As much as we all love, as much as we all love trading around that. But markets are reacting in very different ways, which I think is quite interesting to see, right? I mean, so far we've had equities completely selling off to start the day. SPX down about 0.2%, NASDAQ down almost 1%. Meanwhile, you have Bitcoin and crypto, which are green across the board. And like I said yesterday, I think what's probably going to be the case is that one of those asset classes is probably lying. Which one it is TBD, and it probably has a lot to do with, what Jerome Powell is going to say tomorrow. I definitely want to get everybody's thoughts, of course, on kind of what we're going to expect from Jerome, at that meeting, as well as, what we're going to see it in, how it affects these markets. Because I will say, guys, I think we have kind of this very interesting setup. It's like Bitcoin, a symbol of risk markets, looks like it wants to go in the face of, legacy market weakness. It does feel a little bit maybe deceptive, or maybe it's leading some sort of pop in the equity market. I know we're all very curious to see how the end of September and, of course, how Q4 are going to trade this year. But I'm looking across the board, and it is pretty strange to see equities just kind of in a free fall, and then to look at altcoins and Bitcoin, and they are so green. So I definitely want to talk about that. Also, ETH Bitcoin is down 1% today. I wanted to point that out. That thing is about to break down, which I think it's interesting that it's down 1%, given that altcoins are up against Bitcoin for the most part. But that's neither here nor there. I want to get into the dialogue, guys. I hope everybody has had a fantastic Tuesday morning so far. What do we think about this lack of correlation between Bitcoin and equities right now? And then we can get into FOMC and a little bit more of that talk. But I really want to talk about the lack of correlation that we're seeing between these two assets right now.
Yeah, it's definitely surprising. We have seen this before, where there's been brief periods of maybe like decoupling or decorrelation between DXY and equities and crypto, and they all sort of sync up, and then it's just chaos at other moments. So we'll see if this one sticks or not. I'm not really sure what to make of it. I know we do have FOMC this week, so maybe it has something to do with that. I don't really have an explanation for it, but I would probably agree with you, Tommy, that one of these asset classes is probably not telling the truth right now. And they don't have to sync up one for one, but the correlation is definitely tighter than what we're seeing right now. I'll tell you, they definitely don't have a negative correlation to one another, at least historically speaking. So something has to give. I'm not exactly sure what. But yeah, equities look horrendous today. I mean, the NASDAQ is like literally puking today, and you have altcoins actually performing pretty well. So yeah, like I said, I'm a little bit stumped. I don't really know why it's happening. Maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe it's just an off day. But yeah, anyways, I don't know if anybody else here has any thoughts on it, but it's definitely surprising to see.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the two go, I don't really look at it as decorrelation as much as I do just leaders and lags, right? These markets tend to lead or lag sometimes, which means one will move before the other, and so on and so forth. Because usually when you get into the conversation of decoupling, then people get into this belief that one thing can super cycle while the other one drops to its knees, which I don't see as ever a scenario, right? There's always risk or no risk when it comes to markets, and risk and no risk is on both sides, right? Higher risk, obviously, being in the crypto market versus stock market due to liquidity, right? And I think anybody who understands that knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I would say overall, going into FOMC, I question whether FOMC is even a driver of the market as far as price or decision to be in or be out at this point. unless the Fed's coming in and saying, "Hey, we're going to start cutting," then I don't see any type of reaction from any FOMC. And I don't think anybody anticipates a cut at the moment. So it's like, what are we expecting from FOMC, right? Maybe a tiny bit of volatility. The reality is the market doesn't care about FOMC unless it comes back to the cut again. I mean, as far as stocks go and stuff like that, I mean, they could do whatever they're doing. I think they were in a structural uptrend. They needed to pull back eventually, and we're seeing that pullback, right? We're starting to see that resistance at this point. But the lower and lower these things go, the more things that bleed out, like Apple, so on and so forth. I don't see that as a good thing for the market. I know some people see it as some kind of structured pullback. I just see Apple as more of an ABC, just like what Bitcoin did in 2021. If it can't get back above 180, and Apple's one of those stocks that could pull the whole market down with it, if it comes down far enough. So it's, I don't know what people's anticipations are with that. But I mean, as far as crypto goes, I think crypto's just been so oversold for so long. You got to look at the performance too. Performance on stocks have been much better than performance on crypto. So like, these chop zones and crypto not really wanting to come down makes sense due to performance not really being there in the crypto market. That's why I like when people sit there and talk about Bitcoin and crypto specifically, it's like your performance has been worse on the crypto side of things versus stocks. Stocks have performed significantly better than crypto.
Over what, the last like 3 months?
No, I mean arguably over the whole last year. Look at things like Nvidia and so versus Bitcoin, right? Like there's been multiple instances of stocks just outperforming crypto across the board. You could sit there and say, "Oh, well, this meme coin or that meme coin." That's like saying, "Okay, I won the lottery. I'm at a local gas station down the street when I bought a soda and a candy bar." Like that's really what your odds are of getting into a winning trade when it comes to shitcoins.
Yeah, I mean, you could make the argument that Bitcoin pulled a 2x off the lows and the S&P is up like what, 25%, but yeah, I mean, you've got stuff like Nvidia pulling a 4x, which is Nvidia a larger market cap than Bitcoin right now? It's
significantly.
Significantly. Yeah, I was like, yeah. So if a company like that can, you could argue that stocks have done better, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, look at the chart here, right? Like we got equities bleeding, Bitcoin hanging out at 27.2, Dixie kind of just chopping. Like, I don't know. I think everybody's going to kind of wait for Powell. I think they're probably going to save equities a little bit today, if I had to guess. Not save, but probably.
But Tucker, how much do you think they care? That's the question at the end of the day. How much do you think people care about the Fed meeting?
The equity market?
Investors, yeah, the equity market, yeah.
I mean, if he just skips and is like business as usual, then nobody's going to care, right? Like, yeah. I mean, I think he'd have to come out and say, we are absolutely done, we're pausing, and then people would care. Or he'd have to raise rates by like 50 basis points, and then people would care. I think 25 wouldn't matter. I mean, it'd be a surprise, but I don't think 25 would be a big deal. And I think a skip is definitely not a big deal. So it's kind of a nothing burger tomorrow, unless he has some rhetoric that is, pretty hawkish, which he could, right? He could have some pretty hawkish rhetoric while doing the skip.
What do you make of the market selling off so aggressively into FOMC? Is that a warning signal or is that a fade?
Yeah, I want to see how they close today and how they act tomorrow, but I mean, yeah, usually it's somewhat of a fade. I mean, we know Monday's a fade, so I mean, usually kind of the days before FOMC, if it's being walked up or walked down, are kind of a fade. This doesn't really feel like a walk, though. If you look at the S&P, like this doesn't really feel like an algo-driven walk necessarily. Like this,
yeah, this feels like a pretty aggressive slide on equities, man.
Yeah, like this is a walk down,
Yeah.
That's not, and that's not, and that's a walk up.
I mean,
Like,
look at the VIX, man. I feel like it all kind of ties back to the VIX. Like, you always start to see cracks in the equity markets when the VIX starts to show strength.
yeah. No, yeah, this does not really feel like a controlled walk down, right? I think equities are probably somewhat responding to yields ripping higher. Dude, where's the 2-year? Yeah. Yields are going higher. Equities shouldn't like that. I don't know what's TLT doing today. Probably getting destroyed.
Well,
Yeah.
we discussed and talked about two yesterday, and 2 points, and I think that they're great. Is the DXY and VIX, and both of those were at pivotal points in the chart to where we should see volatility from VIX, and DXY was showing strength. And when you look at those 2 points, it's like, okay, at what point does the market snap back against those two? Or does this drive into some kind of systemic breakdown for these two assets?
Hey, is Will's
Or
mouth lagging
this-
for you guys too?
little bit of mouth
Okay.
lag.
Yeah, it's doing that thing again, Will.
I don't know what's going on here. I don't have
I don't think
anything running.
I don't think it's doing it for me or Tucker. Maybe. Anyways,
Yeah.
we can hear you though. I just didn't know if you had something going on.
Yeah, I did. No, I
So-
don't have anything else. Like, I have everything off.
So one argument for, maybe Bitcoin being green while equities are selling off and yields are skyrocketing. I've heard this argument, and I've talked about it at length with Jackus before, and I've spoken about it with you guys before. Is Bitcoin decoupling in the sense that it's really never existed during a true recession, and if there is uncertainty in equity markets, it's going to begin to trade less like beta to equities and more like a commodity comparable to gold or maybe silver. I see gold is green on the day. Silver is in fact red, just a little bit.
I know that's interesting.
I've seen correlation and decorrelation with gold. I'm not thinking about gold versus just risk or no risk. I've literally watched it at times just completely go the opposite direction from gold, right? And I feel like if you put a chart over another chart, you can always find many instances where they appear to match.
They move
And-
pretty similarly, man. I mean, it's not perfect, but they move a little bit in tandem together. And one is always ahead of the other or behind the other, but
We could argue
Yeah.
the same thing with the S&P. We could say the same thing with the Qs. We could say the same thing with NASDAQ.
and I
There-
do say that. That's why I'm saying today I'm stumped as to why we're not moving with equities. Maybe we're moving more with gold as equities are going, risk off.
Well, there were periods, and I could pull them up where gold was not tracking the same way Bitcoin was, where gold was down and Bitcoin was up, and vice versa. And this is what I keep saying. Like I get the correlation of finding instances where they match. It's just they're not fundamentally the same. Gold
Tucker, you might
has
need to pull up a different chart of those, man. The gaps are kind of throwing it off, I think.
Wait for it. Oh, never mind.
gold has a physical aspect to it, right,
Let me
Max?
get
Like
the
you can
future.
actually create things with it. You can create watches, so on and so it's going to have a different type of demand versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is more of a digital asset that you can hold and you can expect to appreciate over time. Whereas like gold, you can create things with it, or you can hold it for store value.
CFDs.
And I always take those two things differently. Same thing with silver and copper. Like even those that at times can go, silver especially is like the beta of gold, and silver can definitely appreciate over time too. And the thing is with silver though, it has lots of use case outside of just being a store of value. Whereas, like, if you were to argue with BTC, you could only say it's a store of value. You can't create anything tangible with it.
I don't think tangibility is directly tied to store of value properties, though.
No. I think it's tied to price and price impact at certain points in the market. Whether is the market in an economic boom or is it in a market?
I don't think that the price of I don't think that the price of gold is overly variable or volatile because there's an increased demand of gold luxury watches. Or I don't think that people are
no. Well,
and people. I mean, gold is not a very efficient metal for really any type of production. Like you're not going to go make a phone with gold. You're not going to go. You're not going to necessarily put gold in your house unless you're extremely wealthy or something. So I've heard that argument before. I don't think that tangibility of an asset is really the underlying mover in store of value. I don't think it, at least in the gold
not. Gold is for sure not an industrial metal. Like silver is, if you like, the argument for that is silver is used in
silver can definitely be industrial. Yeah.
No, yeah, silver is used in pretty much the production of everything tech.
Yep.
Period. Right, but gold is not. So
no, I mean gold
jewelry.
Yeah, I mean we could say it's just jewelry or whatever. I'm just stating though it has a physical, tangible aspect to it. That's the point that I'm making. Bitcoin does not.
Tucker, Can you quickly draw a vertical line? Right, basically like first week of March.
Oh shit.
That's June. Yeah, March.
You're talking about this one.
Yeah, during the Silicon Valley banking crisis, notice how gold, silver, and Bitcoin all moved together. They all dipped right into that crisis and then sprung right out of it. I don't think you can say that they're not correlated. I don't know what the correlation coefficient is on them. I'm sure we could figure it out, but they're pretty tight, man. It's pretty positive.
I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 70%.
You could pull up SPY on that too, and it did the same thing. You could pull up Qs and it did the same thing. Everything pulled on that. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know. Like I just every single chart out there pulled back on that.
There's a way to do it. I'm sure of it.
What are you trying to do?
Just like Bitcoin over gold, basically. But I don't want it. I don't want it in the plus minus. How the hell do I do that?
Look, here's
what it is. You got it right there, Tucker. That's the top chart. It just looks like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Do you know how you could tell if they were correlated?
There's a way to do it. How do you do it? There's a way to do it.
They would be flat against each other. If you weighed them against each other, they'd be flat.
No, that's not true because they can be correlated, but one could be beta to the other, so they wouldn't be flat against each other. They're not going to move 1% for 1%.
Pull up SPY on there. Put up a fourth chart, Tucker, and pull up SPY.
Before we look at anything, before we do even one more thing.
All right.
Guys, thank you so much for being here. We have 37 people watching the stream. If you are enjoying the content so far, please consider hitting that thumbs up button for us. It really helps this channel grow, really helps us as a young business. We greatly appreciate your guys' continued support day in and day out. But please help us even further beyond just watching. Take one moment and hit that thumbs up button for us. We got 22 likes right now, 37 people watching. I know each one of you could spare a like. It'd be really awesome if we could quickly get to 30 likes. That's usually our goal for the end of the stream, but I think you guys can get it done here pretty quickly. So thanks for spending your Tuesday, September 19th with us. Please smash that like button. Maybe consider subscribing as well. We're ready to take that next step with you. Hope you are with us. Also, where's Evan Casey? Has anyone figured out where Evan Casey is, man?
I have not.
Hold on, we were supposed to name the stream Where's Evan Casey? What happened?
I'm going to send him a message on Twitter. I think I know his Twitter, man. I got to figure out what happened to Evan, man. I'm honestly concerned. Yes, this is a good question, man. Where is Evan?
Here is the correlation coefficient of Bitcoin and gold.
How did you just do that, Tucker?
I'm a boss, Max.
Well, I knew that.
No, I looked it up on Google. You just come here and you hit CC, and it comes.
I
up
appreciate your
correlation.
honesty, man.
I use
He could have just said that he did some quick Pine script coding while we were talking, and he's
Yeah.
honest though. He's honest.
correlation coefficient is one of the pre-built
Bro.
scripts in here.
Tell me why my Head and Shoulders on Palantir is playing out.
What? Wait. Okay, so this is negative correlation, positive correlation. So I mean, I guess you'd have to do like.
It's all over the place.
At time, that's. I guess that's the argument, right? At times, it's very, very correlated to
Yeah.
commodities, and
I love that example right there, Tucker. That's
Yeah.
beautiful because that shows exactly the correlation right there. And you can see at times it is, and at times it isn't.
Yeah. Wait. Let's see if we can. Let's do.
What is that, like a correlation indicator, basically?
Yeah. So we could do. Let's do. What do we want to do? The Russell 2000.
Yeah. Nah, do SPY. I bet it's more correlated.
Or Qs.
Yeah,
Qs
yeah,
and
Qs.
and Ethereum would be good.
Okay, so
Ooh, look at that.
I'm on the 5-minute chart. Hang
I
on.
like the 5 minute. Hey, that does have a pretty hefty correlation. Look at that. That's way more correlated.
Yeah, I don't know. We have more data on this one, I think. So what is that? I guess no, it's the same.
It's the same. Yeah. And if you
I
look
think
at
Can you go to the same time frame, Tucker? One's 3-day, one's weekly. I think they need to be the same time frame.
Yeah, if you look at the 2021 decorrelation, like it's much worse on gold than what it is on spot.
So this is interesting. So when this one, when it was decorrelated, it was also decorrelated. But this one, when it was decorrelated with Qs, it was decently correlated with commodities. Same with this.
So I'm just saying that if gold is green today and Bitcoin is green and equities are nuking, perhaps we're going to be going through a period of very tight positive correlation, which has happened before. We've seen that happen.
It is moving up towards the correlation side. It's just rejecting on the 50 right now.
You mean the zero?
The zero.
Call it 50-0, whichever. But it's the middle of the move. I always call the middle to 50.
Yeah, we could probably get in the weeds on this, honestly.
Tucker just found his project for the day.
Yeah, we could definitely get in the weeds on this, bro.
It's almost like SPY correlates when gold decorrelates, if you look at the two.
Like, look at this. We could get deep in the weeds.
Yeah. I don't know. This is why I don't get into this, because it feels like a rabbit hole.
It is a rabbit hole, Will. It's absolutely a rabbit hole.
This is precisely why I get into this, because it's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
This is where you find your edge, man. It's just spending time in front of the screen, man. This is it.
Yeah.
Who needs to touch grass when you got correlation coefficients?
So these moves down happen pretty quickly. Within 3 months, it goes from decently correlated to completely uncorrelated. Right.
Can you throw them in log mode, Tucker, the charts, just so we can see some of the earlier price action? Oh
wait. That was
I didn't mean that. I meant the yeah. Just so we can see some of the earlier price action.
Yeah.
Dude, that one you had looked perfect. No, go back to log on the bottom ones, the correlation chart. Because it literally gives you a much better view of like where it was most correlated versus uncorrelated.
Yeah, but I don't think it goes.
I think it cuts out too much of the in between.
Yeah, because this is like 0.14 and this is like 100.
Yeah. No, I like being able to see exactly where you're at.
It shows you the decorrelation time better. Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
That's what I was looking for.
Okay, so
I mean, if you look at the high there at Bitcoin, right? When Bitcoin was in a full-on bull run, gold and Bitcoin were completely decorrelated the entire time.
Say that one more time, Will.
if you look at the high on Bitcoin, where Bitcoin was in a full-on bull run in 2021, gold and this is what I was talking about specifically. Gold and Bitcoin were completely decorrelated.
Yeah, so this one's gold.
They
this
were
one's
uncorrelated the entire
here.
bull run. Whereas with SPY
Uncorrelation.
correlated on the second hump.
Decorrelation.
It's actually interesting because if you look at that decorrelation on SPY, it's almost like SPY is telling you Bitcoin's going to rip back up.
Okay, wait. So whenever it's bottomed on decorrelation with gold, it's either a top or a bottom. That's what it is. Like, look at that.
Wow.
Or we've just like made a move, right? Well, I guess that really was the top, but this one we had just started making a move.
Yeah, but look at SPYs, Tucker.
But on Qs,
I mean, yeah, sorry, Qs.
on
Yeah.
Qs, you're like about to move, right?
Yep.
On Qs, you either go sideways and nuke, you go up, or you go up. And okay. So what about times of high correlation on Qs? I'm sorry if the audience doesn't like this, but this has to happen.
I mean, the rabbit hole's already been open, so
I have a chart for you guys that won't take up the whole show whenever we're done with this.
I mean, the indicator there says it all right there. Like, I'll just say that. Like that shows you the Qs looks way more correlated than gold does from the way that looks.
Yeah.
It's less downtime. Definitely less downtime than gold.
I think Bitcoin is still like reaching a point or getting to a point where it's establishing which asset class is going to be more correlated to. Like it's kind of correlated to both at different times, I think, because sometimes you have fundamentally driven flows into Bitcoin, whether it be like leaving currencies that are depreciating like the ruble or as a storage of wealth, essentially similar to a commodity like a gold or a silver. And then you also have, the correlation to tech, the correlation to a more speculative asset. And I think that it just hasn't quite found its foothold with either one yet, or at least not. At least it's very reflexive with when it finds its foothold, right? When it finds its foothold, it's an unstoppable force as we see in its parabolas. But when it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't really fit into either category. So I kind of think my long-term theory is actually that speculators get flushed out and it turns into a commodity. I think I said that yesterday.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. Taking a look at Bitcoin NASDAQ, which I know we spent a decent bit of time talking about on this show before. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much this little diagonal trend line matters, but it certainly looks like Bitcoin is attempting to at least retest this trend line. Again, this is BTC NASDAQ, so it's Bitcoin paired against the NASDAQ rather than the US dollar. I guess if it was going to reject and we are going to see them sync up again and assume equities continue their downtrend and Bitcoin decides to join, you would expect to see this move down. On the flip side of that, if we see a breakout here of Bitcoin NASDAQ and the NASDAQ continues to bleed, you could see a period of, I guess, negative correlation, or I guess the NASDAQ turns around and rips and Bitcoin rips more. But this is certainly looking like this pair, at least for the meantime, is floored and it wants higher. I don't know what you guys think about this, but this looks pretty dang floored to me, and it looks like it wants to break out.
Yeah, it does look decently floored. I mean, it could tap that line and turn around, but
this is your level.
Yeah, this is kind of your must hold. So what does that imply for BTC USD?
Well,
I mean that either implies the NASDAQ is about to get slaughtered or Bitcoin's going to go up.
I mean, we are talking about the stocks look weak, right?
Stocks do look weak.
It would make sense that Stocks pull back. I mean, Bitcoin doesn't even have to move on that, right? Bitcoin could just stand still while stocks.
Well,
right.
If stocks continue their pullback, which is my base case until next month's FOMC, so end of October / November 1st, if stocks continue their bleed down and nothing too crazy, but just bleed into that meeting, and we get rejected at this trend line for BTC NASDAQ, then it would make sense that Bitcoin would, just kind of continue to tighten here. We could see it chop solidate. So maybe pretty soon here we start to move down. I mean, back to this line is down another 11%. So it's possible if the NASDAQ goes down 3% more, and this pair is going to bleed 11, Bitcoin could bleed 10, 11, 12, 15% maybe. But there's a lot of ways to kind of look at this, right?
Can we look at the weekly? Because I actually think it looks weak, kind of weak, to be honest. It's below the 50 level on the RSI. I could totally see it U-turning here if it doesn't hold. This is the must hold. Like the 2 round. I have the Bitcoin NDX as mine. So the ratio is like exactly 2. I guess it's like a meme support, but I don't know. It kind of looks weak to me. I think it might roll over.
I don't know, man. Technically speaking, this doesn't look weak to me. This looks like it wants to try to break out, but it's got to get above. I mean, it's got to break this trend line. I don't know. I'm kind of neutral on it until it either gets to this trend line and starts showing absorption or
log on.
It looks weak to me too.
This is log. This is not log. Do you want it in log or not log?
Not log. And can you can you zoom out? I'm just like looking at the entire thing, and it's below the 200 week. I mean it better hold here. It better hold here.
Yeah,
I mean,
I would say that's a breakdown pattern, really, Max. Like you got the continual resistance into support, and then eventually one side gives out, and it's usually the bottom.
So, Will, you think this is going to nuke from here?
Yeah.
So that if you're bearish on equities, if you're bearish on equities, that would imply you're mega bearish on Bitcoin then, because you are bearish on equities.
No,
you're not.
No, I'm bearish on equities. I mean, Bitcoin could pull back; it just pulls back less. Like I'm not
if that pair goes down.
If this pair goes down, Will. If this pair goes down and you're bearish on stocks, you're super bearish on Bitcoin by definition.
It could simply be a retest of the deviation, right?
Yeah, but man, what you're talking about, a retest of that deviation is 27%. If stocks go down 5%, that means Bitcoin's going down over 30%. There's no possible way for us to come back down here.
I don't know
unless equities literally rip. If equities go to like all-time highs, but there's no way for you to be bearish stocks and also bearish this pair and be bullish Bitcoin. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, here's the thing. You got NASDAQ right there in a continual downtrend against Bitcoin. It's been that way for months.
No, this is Bitcoin against NASDAQ.
Or Bitcoin against NASDAQ, yeah. You got Bitcoin in a continual downtrend against NASDAQ then. So it's been that way for months. I mean, a pullback in Bitcoin could be massive compared to a pullback in NASDAQ. And I don't mean like to the downside massive. I mean like, 10-20% move or whatever could bring this chart down to where it needs to be to rebalance that move on Bitcoin. But I've already talked to you guys about this. I told you guys, like, I think it will roll into the lower 20s. I just don't know if it happens yet. Right? You still got plenty of room on that overall move. You could play this out for a couple more months.
I mean, we're getting pretty close to
that line, brother.
Like, this is your rejection spot right up here, man. We're within, it's probably going to be this week. I mean, we're within 1.5% of it, give or take. So it's like we either break out of it.
Max, I got it. You fake breakout into the harvest moon, and then
I don't think we break out of it at all. I don't. Like, that's not a breakout pattern. It's a breakdown pattern. Like I go off what I see in the chart. Like I don't. If it is bearish, then it's bearish.
I'm looking at the Bitcoin Nasdaq on the monthly right now, and it looks. I did the curve thing. Did the curve thing, Tucker? It looks like it's
Yep.
broken its parabola to me.
What do you mean it's broken? It's per wait. You're looking at
me
Max.
share.
Put it on the monthly.
Yeah, let me share my screen real quick. Show you.
Tommy the screen stealer.
The screen stealer.
Did Tommy just steal the screen again, man? That's Tommy's
about to.
classic move, man.
I just did it. I
Oh,
waited.
shoot.
Wow.
I was kind of looking for that on it, but let's see. I see that. 3 drive. Now we can trade like a commodity. So speculative growth cycle, commodity.
Commodity super cycle.
Yes, commodity super cycle.
Thank you guys so
Commodity
much for
flows.
33 likes on the video. You guys are awesome. If you haven't liked the video yet, please consider helping us out and just hit that thumbs up button for us real quick. And maybe subscribe if you're new here. If you don't know who we are Because Bitcoin. This is Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin. We are here every single weekday, Monday through Friday, at the same time, about 10:40, 10:45 a.m. Eastern time, doing Market Check. So yeah, if you guys want to help us out, please consider hitting that thumbs up button for us. Really helps the robot take a liking to us at YouTube.
All right, how do we steal screens? I need to know this.
Oh, we got to get you.
You hold it up at gunpoint, man. You got to shake it down.
All right, let me find it real quick.
There you go.
So
You're up.
yeah, I mean this is your risk. Like, I mean, we're already starting to play this out. This is what I was talking about the other week. Head and shoulder potential, boom, hitting out beautifully across the high here. I mean, I don't know what expectations are here for things, but this is already forming a lower shoulder. And if it breaks down, I mean, this is going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly. We're going to come down pretty hard. At least down here to 11, maybe a little bit lower. I mean, you got arc right here. It's structurally broken. It's uptrend. It's gone. This was the magnet. Didn't make it to the magnet. Broke down right here. Basically deviated above, and then now it's rolling over. This is a lower high shoulder. Like, I'm getting lower highs across the board. It's not just, it's a multiple assets. It's not just Bitcoin and these other ones. So we'll see how it plays out at the end of the day. I think like stocks are pretty much cooked. I don't think there's any point in really entertaining a lot of things, right?
Will, I want to just clarify one point with you on that chart we were talking about. I don't mean to like bring it back up and whatever, but you said that the Bitcoin NASDAQ chart was a breakdown chart waiting to happen, and it wasn't going to break out. If you're bearish equities, fill in the blank. Like, that implies that you're very bearish on Bitcoin right now.
Let's look at NASDAQ. Let's look at NASDAQ.
But I know, but I'm talking about the Bitcoin NASDAQ chart specifically.
Yeah, I need to see how bearish I am on NASDAQ again.
Okay, all right. How bearish are you on NASDAQ then?
you see what I'm saying? Because like,
I get it.
Yeah. If I think we're gonna break down here and then break out, and Bitcoin's not really gonna move, then that would make sense, right? So like, I gotta kind of dial this in for a minute, but NDQ. I mean, yeah, I would say if we can hold here, great. If not, then your next level's here, and that means Bitcoin's getting wrecked. And really, if you come down here, Bitcoin's probably sitting at low 20s, 15K. Like that's just where it's at. Like, from that chart specifically, right? That would be kind of my thoughts on as far as levels go. I don't think you could structurally break down to here the way that chart looks.
Okay, so you're potentially very bearish on the NASDAQ, at least just for a pullback. And by the way, coming back to that August 2022 high that you have, we'd still be in a structural uptrend. It's important to note that. It's very aggressive. Yeah, we'd still be in a structural uptrend. That's still bullish to retest that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not broken.
You still got your trend there, yeah.
Yeah, that's still a healthy uptrend. So, but then going back to the Bitcoin NASDAQ pair, Will, if you think we're about to get rejected on that pair, and you also think we could pull back aggressively for NDQ, you are bearish Bitcoin. 2 plus 2 is 4, right?
It all depends. So I'm gonna let me give context to the
Brother.
conversation. Hold on, no,
Will, there's
let
only
me,
one answer. You can't spin that one, man.
I
It's just
can,
the
and I'm going to give me.
I won't allow it. I won't allow you to spin it, man. No way.
Look, if structurally this is the bottom for NQ, and NQ does bounce, and I'm wrong, then guess what? Bitcoin doesn't have to go down at all.
Well, sure.
It
But
can
what
just
if
come
you're
up a
right?
little bit,
What
right?
if you're right?
Structurally, if NQ goes here to here, we're gonna get a nice pullback on Bitcoin, probably 23K, 20K, somewhere in there, right? And then a bounce up.
But
and
Will, you're very rarely wrong. So why would that happen right there?
Which one?
The first one.
Either one of those, Will. You said we're going lower. You're bearish on equities. You've been clear on that. Why would you be wrong here? Why would they keep
but
going up?
that doesn't
We should
mean
assume that you're going to be right here and something like that will happen.
it doesn't mean that that's gonna happen. You have to take it level by level, right? So like as these levels get violated, then you get more bearish, right? So like if this gets violated here and we end up below here, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, this shit's it's going to get nuked. Everything's getting nuked at that point, right? Then I can be super bear here. But it doesn't make a sense to be a super bear here when we still have structural supports in between that'll stop that from happening, at least in the short term, right? And if we get bounces off these, you'll be completely off sides if you're trying to short this market. You'll be completely off sides. If we bounce here on NASDAQ, you're going to get wrecked on shorts. You're going to get destroyed. If we bounce here, you're going to get destroyed because you're going to probably hold that short thinking you're coming down here and you're not. Right?
By the way, if we dip below that second blue horizontal line you have right there, Will, that one,
it's over.
Well, I'm getting bullish, man. That's where I'm shoving. I'm shoving underneath that, man.
There's no support there.
Yeah, the August 2022 high, and there's a weekly inefficiency right above it.
You got a gap right here. If you break down in there, you're gonna feel this, right?
No, I'm bidding that gap, man. That gap, and then there's a weekly inefficiency that's at the bottom of your gap right there.
Basically one right here, right? Like we
I
could
want
say
that box.
We could say it's been filled by wick. I don't think so. I think
check level, good level.
These are gaps that are there, right? So like, and here's another one, right? Here's the kicker, right here, and that one has already been filled though. But that's the gap that basically price.
I don't think we're going back down there. I don't think that's happening.
This has been filled. This has been filled. Look.
Oh, we got our boy back
right there. See? So that's your fill for this gap. This gap was filled. This gap right here,
Casey.
We can't really say it's filled because you still have this thing that played out right here, right? So this gap isn't filled yet. This right here is the potential pull down or pull back, and that could be something as simple as this, right? And I do think there is a structural pullback coming for Bitcoin. We've talked about this. That could be something like this, though, right?
But where's the pullback, Will? Because Bitcoin looks like the strongest asset in the world today. So I want to know.
Oh, I've talked about it. I mean, I just think people are just too early to the short trade. I think they're way too early.
Because, I mean, this thing looks like it's going to go to 100K by the end of the day today.
No, don't. We talked about this. You know what I mean? I said 28K. That's your resistance. That's where you need to watch. Like this, look, it's the same thing as what you were showing with NASDAQ Bitcoin. Look at where you're going to.
Damn, are we pamping right now?
High time frame resistance.
We're sweeping.
Right?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, we are.
For now, we're sweeping.
We're not.
It might be pamping.
Look. That's all. That's all that you're going to, Max, right here. You have to get above this downtrend to even attempt to be bullish here. Right?
So
you still have resistance here.
Yeah. This is like the ideal short spot for me right here, by the way.
So if we were to come into here, look, Max, if we were to come up to here, let's say we pump all the way straight up, right? Let's say we go all the way straight up. That's your high right there.
So 28.3 to 28.5.
Yeah,
that's your spot.
28.3 to 28.5. That's your high. Although I think it ends at 28.
Let me show you. This is where this is my at this point. Unless we turn around up here, This is my area of short interest right up here. Like, I think the amount of stops that would get run, we did something like this.
Yep.
And then it's just like, then we see BTC, NASDAQ,
Bro,
pull
if
back.
that
I want
comes
that
down
wick
again, everybody's selling. If it goes up above 28 and comes back down to below 28, they're gonna be able to shove this thing through 25.
Wait,
But we also could could completely get stuffed right here, man. Like, we still need to get above this level,
Mhm.
But I think you just have to be a little bit patient. And I mean, this is a predatory ass pattern, man. Look at this. If this happened, and by the way, I wouldn't even mind this happening. If the chart looked like this, I'd be like, yeah, I could see him taking out this wick at this point. I could see him taking out this wick. I wouldn't, if I'm bearish, I wouldn't really want to see it, but I could definitely see him taking this out. And then they basically build something kind of like this. I could see it just like curving like this, and then just grinding.
massage the parabola, Max. Yeah, there you go.
What you mean, parabola?
The parabola.
Yeah. I got you.
There you go.
Something like this.
That's a healthy parabola right there.
If the chart looked like this, I actually would be thinking this is probably what would happen.
I'm a bull, but I'm not stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that just a lot of people get caught up in these super like uptrend to forever type moves. It's like, it's not what's going to happen right now. We're not even past the halving.
We're seeing every alt on my alt ETH pair list is green.
I mean, but look at Bitcoin. That's why
all these alts are outperforming ETH right now. ETH BTC is red. If Bitcoin puts in a lower high, like Tommy said, I think this is probably it.
You guys want to see generational wealth? Go check out Mobland.
It's still my base case, by the way, that we're doing something very comparable to June 2022. It's not going to be perfect. It never is. But at this point, actually, let me just double check. At this point, I'm not seeing. Yeah, this move is still largely driven by perps, guys. Like, almost exclusively driven by perps, which is fine if spot comes in eventually to support it. But this is not a spot-driven rally once again. So I'm just saying, like, let's put it into context here. We've seen this before. We've seen this happen right over here. And I still think this wick is going to get taken. I don't know. I don't think we do something like this. I think we would need like a serious catalyst. But I think we come down to take out that wick. So maybe we end up sweeping the high, maybe not.
Do what?
DMT looks good, man.
Does it?
Check out that chart. Yeah.
I have to pull that chart up. It's been a minute.
Put it on the weekly and look at that move.
No. It's got a little ground. It's got to make up.
Yeah. Is that Dream? That's Dream Machine, right?
Yeah, no, that's the they launched the ETH pool up here is the issue.
I'm using a USDT pair on
I
my
know. It looks much better on that pair.
Oh, okay. That's why the was like, what? I'm like looking at Mexi. I'm like, what's going on? Yeah, see that bounce right there on Mexi?
Close. It's getting close to a bottom.
I mean,
I think a lot of
it might have already bottomed, or it's in the process of bottoming. I could see it continue to fill that inefficiency. Honestly, down to $5, but I'm just not that bullish on chain stuff right now.
I think that a lot of it is pretty close to like a local bottom, though. I will say I would agree with you, though. I'm not super bullish, but I think you could see a lot of this stuff bounce 100% off the bottom, and then maybe roll over.
There's your 10x, brothers. There it is. 1618.
Check out my. Can you swap it over to me real quick?
Well, if you want it, you got to steal it, man.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys remember this chart here. Your favorite polymatic.
I forgot about that one.
Not Nakamoto.
Still chatting.
I've been so happy recently, and it must be because I haven't seen the Nakamoto screen.
Look at it. Look.
Is this Naka's
Breakout.
I would actually buy Naka's project, man. You got to support your friends.
Yeah, I would for
Naka's a
sure.
good dude, man.
But look at the structure here. Doesn't this look pretty good? Doesn't look too bad. It really doesn't. It just this is your high time frame resistance here.
Is it in log mode?
Yeah, it's in log.
Can you put it in not log real quick?
Oh, okay.
Well, it just log is cheat mode, you know.
Regular.
All right, that actually still doesn't look terrible. Like we're moving up, we're stacking.
We're stacking. All we got to do is get above this resistance right here. You get above this resistance. All this.
Well, I don't know. Let's start with like $3 maybe. I think $3. There's a little gap there at $3, but
yeah, you got some resistance up here. Yeah, it's starting to look good. These are the gaming ones I've been talking to you guys about them. But look at this one. UANX. Boom. Dead.
What is this?
Over CRV. Look. Boom. Dead.
I just want to say that the lower time frame on CRV during New York session, when you invert it, it trades exactly with the VIX, which I think is kind of fitting.
Yeah.
Look at all these charts. Look, I can go across the board. Chainlink, for some reason, hasn't died yet, but it's getting there.
Dude, Chainlink might, like, if it holds that level again, if Bitcoin pulls back, Chainlink actually might be a bid. I'm not even kidding.
That's strength. That is strength.
Chainlink is a bid, brothers. Chainlink
if Bitcoin goes to 20K and Chainlink continues to hold that range low, it's a bid.
It's absolutely.
Tommy, this is distribution.
I would rather bid anything but Link. I'm just.
Oh my god,
Tommy. We have a Marine on the show with us.
Come on, man.
Do you not respect the Marines?
There are other proxies to DeFi I would rather bid than Link. Just so Sergey can dump on me. Still at 5 and 6. Where is it trading right now? Like $6 or $7?
Which one, Link? Oh yeah, it's like $7 right now. $7.
And Sergey is still dumping.
He'll run out.
He'll run out.
Never, man. He'll never run out of tokens.
A few decades, he'll run out.
Wait, Tommy, is he actually dumping? He's dumping his Link. All right, I'm actually not gonna. I'm never gonna buy Link then, man. I can't stand when founders start dumping their stuff.
Hold on, isn't he just dumping his rewards?
No, he's had the TWAP on the cells basically since the top.
Well, that show you how much demand there is, brother.
No, dude.
Yeah,
it's like Charlie Lee, man. That's the Litecoin guy, right? Didn't he bail on Litecoin?
Yeah.
I'll never buy Litecoin because of that, man. You got to go down with your ship. You got to go down with your ship, man. There's no way you can't.
LDO
I'm
looks
not gonna
over.
buy from him, man. There's no way.
LDO looks over. Look at that.
BC coin.
Lido is about to go down with CRV.
You mean STETH goes to literal zero?
I don't think that's what that means.
Look at Aave though. No, I've been looking at this chart for a couple days. Aave actually looks pretty good. Like this doesn't look bad.
You're gonna bid DeFi while Curve sits on the edge of a cliff, brother.
I mean, Aave is unaffected by Curve, man.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
I think
Curve goes down, Aave comes back down here to $49, and that's it.
Aave goes to probably like $12.
I think I had like 20, 25 marked out for AAVE.
Like
I've heard so many names for that. I've heard AAVE.
Aave is my favorite way to say it.
I think AAVE is pretty funny.
Generational
all
wealth.
those lows down there, man. Why wouldn't we raid them?
Generational wealth right here.
Print the
that's a strong phrase, Will. I don't know.
It took generational wealth to get it to where it's at.
AAVE.
Someone made generational
the graph.
wealth.
I love the graph, Will. I love the graph. The graph is the.
Bro, I can't find a single chart on here.
This is Google. The graph is Google. What is Alice?
Oh, you don't remember Alice?
That's a gaming project. No, is it an NFT or gaming? I don't remember.
Gaming.
Mm.
You can like farm for like money. You get the token. Yeah.
I wouldn't want that token.
Umbrella looks dead.
You can tell like how creative these VCs were getting with the names of these projects.
Look at this. Look at this wick.
I mean, look at the hottest on-chain narrative right now is named Banana. Like,
Didn't they
Here's
rug?
Joe.
no creativity.
I thought they rugged.
I thought they rugged too.
They deployed their contract and it was I guess I don't think it was either exploited or they deployed it incorrectly and it allowed people to just like insta dump everything. So it relaunched at a fourth or a third of the market cap that it did the first
I
time.
just pulled this chart up. Look at that on here.
Maker.
man. I had
Maker?
top sell it all, and then it fell over.
No, Maker is actually a bag I wish I had held on to.
And now it's back above. No, but over here I was like, oh, it's top, sell it all.
Wow,
It's
it's
top,
1260.
Maker looks good, man.
I mean,
But dude,
let's be honest. The real world asset narrative, it's kind of like a bank those could be seized by the government at any time, and then DAI, which is being backed by those assets, takes the haircut. So,
well, dude, what happens to Maker if Curve gets nuked?
Here's everybody's favorite project.
that lends and involves a stablecoin is going to get destroyed if Curve goes down.
Can you imagine if DAI went down?
Oof. Yeah,
that would be worse. That would be worse, I think.
Unify doesn't look too bad. This is log off.
What is this? Unify? Unfi?
Fine. That thing had the biggest pump last summer.
Look at this.
I had a buddy who caught it.
We'll do
Talking
that.
about- You talking about this one?
Yeah,
This
that.
over here.
caught it on like 20x.
Oh man.
Oh,
We'll do vet, brother.
vet. All right, let's check.
I played vet in the bull market, yeah. Round trip to
I already had
so
this
make some
drawn
money.
out, bro. Look at this. I had it drawn out where it was gonna go.
Are you buying, Will?
I haven't looked at these charts in a long time. Like
Are
I'm
you a
just kind of
beat
flowing through.
I heard they're partnered with Walmart
They
and
are.
McDonald's.
Wow,
Yeah.
that changes everything for me,
And,
man.
and
Wow.
BMW
bid.
and,
That
and,
sounds like a bid.
and Louis Vuitton.
Are they VeChain is partnered with Louis Vuitton?
All the big chains, yeah.
That's
They do their so the NFT thing that a lot of people don't really get what it's for. The non-fungible tokens, that's how they're tracking real world assets and stuff like that. That's what they're doing for a lot of them. They're basically they give you an NFT that kind of shows you that the purse or whatever that you bought is authentic, right? And it comes with the purse. So when you sell the purse, you sell the NFT with it. BMW tracking parts, so on and so forth. So that's what they're doing for them. So they're helping them track their parts. When
I
they go
could see,
from
yeah, I could see NFTs being used to like prove that
It's
things-
more verification. That's
Yeah,
what they were
it's
supposed
like-
to be used for.
Yeah.
On-chain data tracking, stuff like that. That was the real world use case for a lot of them. Just nobody really wanted to bid into that.
Vet, you mean the official blockchain of the UFC? That's a bot. Oh,
These
man.
companies still have way too much money, man. Like,
Look at ARB, man. It just broke below its 0.25. It's got the trend though, the downtrend. It just keeps bouncing off this downtrend.
I actually am somewhat bullish on our
Yeah.
next cycle. I think it will pump.
Oh, so do I.
It hasn't had a cycle yet. Like I'm gonna let this play out and see. I'm not gonna try to bottom pick it, but it's definitely on my watch list, no doubt, man.
Yeah,
No
I just
doubt.
don't want to buy it at 84 and then it goes to 25 cents.
Ooh, you got that screen stolen, Will.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
know what,
I'll
man?
figure it out
one's
one day.
No one's gonna give you anything, man. If you want something, you got to take it. And, I wanted the screen. I wanted the screen from Will, but I don't know, guys. This is the bull market, the handmade bull market support band right here. The 20 SMA and 21 EMA. I don't know, man. This kind of seems like your spot. This seems like the spot. This is the retest.
Did you get up there?
And if it doesn't, if it flips these EMAs and the top of this, then I guess you're going up here. Just saying.
I still don't think we flipped 28K.
How about this, Tommy? I was doing this last night and I thought you would like this. Something like this, man. Something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe we maybe we draw this out.
That'd be
Maybe we
gross.
massage it a little bit.
That'd be very gross. Oh my
Something
God.
like this, Tommy.
Oh man.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
That's disgusting.
Too
This would be
high.
the ultimate scam, though, brother. Tucker, think about it, bro. Imagine.
Too high.
We're above the bull market support band. We flipped the grayscale high. Bitcoin's at 29K. We're going to 40K.
Wag me,
20.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. This would be the ultimate.
I could see it.
What do you guys
That
think
would
about?
be.
What do you guys think about OP?
I'm not buying OP, bro.
I'm actually
It's
short
gonna
OP right now. That's what
OP loves to just give their incentives to everybody, man.
Yeah, they're like, no.
Nah.
Wilson are maxi, so he'll never like optimism. But I mean,
ARB's the future.
people love base chain, but how much does optimism really stand to benefit from that narrative? You know, it benefits from like some rake backs, but that's about it.
You got it exactly. Like, the only thing optimism is providing the stack, right? Like, that's all they're doing for a lot of projects. Like, that doesn't mean they're going to benefit monetarily from that, except for maybe they're going to get kickbacks from base. They're going to kick back from other chains that are building on their stacks, but like they're not going to make money from people buying their token.
This is playing out beautifully. My falling wedge.
ARB has builders though. ARB has TVL. ARB has a lot going on for it. So
Max,
I think.
Oh, sorry. Well, what were you saying?
No, I was just gonna say I think like we saw what happened with Polygon, right? We know VC investors are interested in layer twos. So I think because ARB is the new kid on the block, it'll catch the bid in the next bull run.
Max, what do you think the VIX trades at if the SPY is essentially going to 420, 430 in that range?
600 or 700. I'm just kidding. Let's take a look, man. Should we do a little VIX TA? That could be fun.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Doing VIX TA is always
next stream. We're gonna call it ASMR for bears.
VIX maxis are going to be really upset.
Look at this fractal that I have. I don't even know when I put this on there. What is this? Okay. Obviously, that did not happen. I don't even remember putting that there.
I don't remember.
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. Oh man, why does she look kind of good?
The VIX?
All right.
Looks real
Yeah.
good.
Dude, look at this right here. Look at that perfect sweep right there.
Mara's gonna reverse at 850.
So Tommy, you're saying if SPY goes to 420? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right, let's pull up SPY.
What did your pullback had it going to where?
Why did it just take me off of that? Hang on 1 second. So sorry. Technical difficulties. All right. Let's remove this. Let's remove this. Sorry, I got a bunch of drawings up here apparently. Yeah, I mean, I could see something like this. So the last high, so that's the green one. I would think that if this one went down here and we filled in this gap, by the way, which I don't think is impossible. I don't think that's impossible, somewhere around here. I would probably expect to see the VIX somewhere up in this region and see SPY down here, 425-ish, give or take. What do we think about that?
18 or 19? I don't know. I think it's going to go higher, but
Probably about 200, 250.
We're gonna set new VIX highs. Totally joking.
Come on, Lance, take it easy.
Wait, what? You just cut out there big time.
Me?
Oh, I think Tucker's cutting out.
Is it me?
Wait, everybody just cut out for a second.
Tucker.
No.
It's Tucker.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm in the VIX 180s for next week, so let's ride. No, I don't know. I think we go see 30 again, man. 30's that spot on the VIX.
You think 30 right now?
I mean, not now, but like if we get a sell, yeah. I mean, I don't know why it wouldn't go to 30. They got.
I think we'll see 30 next year at some point. I don't think we're going to get much above 20 this year.
The daily div puts us at 30. Yeah. I was looking at you remember that was a whole bunch of word vomit, but Will, do you remember the picture I posted in Discord a few days ago of the VIX with the bull div on the daily? It was either the daily.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Didn't you find like a 30-year bull div on the VIX?
There's a monthly bull div on the VIX.
But like
about that.
I do have a massive chart on VIX. Like, if you guys want to see it, let me pull it up. Give me just a second.
And also, guys, thank you so much again for being here. We got almost 40 people watching still. We got 35 likes. If you haven't liked the video yet and you're enjoying the stream, please consider smashing that thumbs up button for us and perhaps also subscribing to the channel. And real quick, guys, if you want to trade with us, all of us here, Will, me, Snorlax, Tucker, check out the first link in the description of this stream. It's to our website, becausebitcoin.com/premium. We have a really awesome Discord, guys. It's really awesome. We share all of our positions, additional analysis that we only share with the Discord. We've got 2 private calls every single day with all of the premium members. Really great place to hang out. So if you want to actually trade with us and access some of that premium content, check out that first link in the description below. All right, Will, let's see the 30-year bear div, bull div.
Bull div.
Div of some sort. I don't know.
So it's not really that I was more pointing to, but like I do have the chart kind of showing the activity of the VIX over time. And that's just you've been in the downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend. And if you look at both sides of this is like your 0809 scenario, right? This is like, and this is kind of to the bullish thesis too. I know you guys are gonna be like, man, this guy. But look, if you look over here, here's your 2000, right? This is, granted, keep in mind, you're in an uptrend when this occurs, right? So this is your downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend when the 0809 crash occurs. Downtrend, uptrend, 2022 basically crash occurs over here. And that kind of occurs because of this uptrend over here. And then you get your systemic breakdown, right? Now, that doesn't mean we can't catch another spike like we did over here and over here. But what it means is that our trend has directionally, in my opinion, switched to the cool down phase of the VIX. Now, the part you don't want to really get caught in is the, symmetrical low end of the trend, right? So, this is technically, we should have had a correction after 2017. Like this should have been our big crash, but they stimulated us out of it, right? Over here, we did, because 06, 07 is where the problems began. And then your uptrend began directly after, and then your breakdown, right? And over here for 2000, right, you're basically, your problems began over here in 94, 95. And then you had your structural uptrend, and then your breakdown, your massive breakdown. And over here, we should have had the same thing after 17 and 2021, 2020, which is the COVID crash, right? So technically, we did have that scenario occur in 2020. That was our big spike right here, right? And then we're basically having our cool down phase after that. We still had systemic issues after the 08 crash, and that kind of bled into it. And that's kind of what we had here in the 2022. But now structurally, I would say we're in a downtrend phase where, yes, we can sweep out of this and definitely cause some downside. But like, structurally, like we're moving down to this zone again before our next systemic real risk on market comes to where we're going to get the big boom market into a big implosion, right? So your '07, '08 was your big your move before the move, and then you basically had your implosion. And then I think we're moving into that zone. I think we'll probably be there by like 2027. This is why I say the end of the decade is where we'll see the next big implosion. And then from here, 2027 to 2028, 2029 probably is where we'll see the implosion actually occur. And then you'll see another systemic risk issue in the markets based on the VIX. Does all that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
So this is where things start, is at the bottoms of each one of these curves, right? That's where your real systemic issues start. And then from there, a year or two later, you're getting a blow off top market into an implosion market. Based on the VIX, right? That's what I've identified. I haven't seen anybody look at the VIX in these patterns, right? This is the pattern I think that most people should be paying attention to versus like everything else. And for me, like I do think there's a melt up scenario here for VIX. I do think that's definitely a thing here, Tommy. So I agree on that. If you look at where support is, it only makes sense to come off this pretty hard, right? Which means we could see downside in both markets, both equities and in crypto too. And that's why I think there's still a scenario where that happens. But I think once we get that implosion to the upside, we get that breakdown to the downside, and that's probably your bull run 2025 into 2024 for crypto. You know, a big blow up for stocks to the upside, and then we kind of trend down to here going into like maybe 2027, 2026. Really, I think 2026. That's where I think that all this occurs. So I think bottom of 2026 is kind of like your reversal, and then you come back up 2027, 2028, and you get your big implosion.
So is that your generational shove spot, Will? Right there, that
Which
trend
one?
line, the
No,
bottom horizontal line.
So this is actually where you want to start dialing out. You want to dial out on this side of the curve. You want to dial in up here. So even though we're going to see more downside, like this, your generational wealth is on this end of the curve, not this end.
Any chance you could pull up a SPY chart underneath that? So go to the upper left corner where it says VIX and hit the plus sign. Yeah, and just add SPY on a new pane. So SPX, you have it right there. And then new pane. Yep.
And you can see right here, this is calling for the breakdown before it occurs, right? It's telling you right here, you're going to run into systemic risk. Your volatility is rising too quickly.
So whenever we go back down to that the horizontal white line, it's potentially with other things confluence for additional high time frame risk off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. On a high time frame scenario, if you look across here, if you'd have taken that, you would have saved yourself a ton, right?
Yeah,
You could have got out near the top here. On a high time frame, if you'd have taken this scenario, you could have saved yourself a ton. Even if you'd have sold here, let it run, you could have picked up much lower.
Well, what about 1994 there, brother?
It's the same thing. It's just much.
You would have missed the tech bubble.
No, you would have got the dip. You would have still got the dip before the tech bubble.
For ethical reasons, I prefer not to invest in bubbles, Tucker. So
never let a good bubble go to waste.
I'm just kidding, man. We love bubbles.
I mean, you could have almost revisited it again, though, in Tucker in 09. You'd have been very close to revisiting it.
Yeah, but you would have missed off on like a fucking 10x. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Like a 10x.
Yeah, you would have.
So, Will, are we going to? Okay, so let's just say your timeline is correct. I don't know exactly when it's going to hit. Are you anticipating another new high? Because I see you've noted it's kind of like a megaphone pattern. I mean, that would be pretty wild, right? But if we make a new low, then would we go on subsequently to make a new high?
Yeah, so in this pattern, we're gonna more or less, make another high, right? So this is your top, and it marks the tops pretty well. You can see right here, like that's your top there. Over here, this is kind of like your implosion bottom, right? And then this right here is like, where are we at? Right here. Yeah, that's pretty much your systemic bottom, because you kind of hang out up here for a while. So if we look here, you're kind of up here for a while in that zone before you actually break down. So this only made sense for the implosion to or the end of the implosion to happen over here as you started to cool down, right? Over here, if you took the implosion, you're pretty much almost at bottom directly after the big spike. So you got your spike high over here again. And you could have sat this, right? You could have sat this, but then you'd have probably missed out on some move, but you would have definitely caught some more downside. And then over here, you got your spike high, right? Which is your bottom of your move right here. So it's indicated your bottoms based off of these spikes, and it's indicated where the risk on / risk off needed to occur over here on this end. So this is kind of like your indication of like in out in like 4 to 5 year cycles, more or less. At least that's how I've been utilizing it.
Yeah, I like it. Tommy, real quick, we're getting into time here, man, but I'd love to get some thoughts from you on what you're seeing in crypto. Looks like crypto's still just kind of hanging out relative to this equity sell, but I know you're watching it like a hawk. So what are you seeing?
Yeah, if the sternness in my face wasn't giving it away, I am watching it like a hawk. Actually,
that's not your Giga Chad face, man. You don't do the.
I don't think we're going above 28K. I'm going to maintain that. I think if you break 28K, then I'm going to get really, really bullish. But I'm going to maintain that we probably don't tag it, and if we do, it's just by a hair. But I'm open to be proven otherwise. This is about the level I would expect to see, bears continue to step in. It has, continued to cap price over the last few weeks, and we'll see if that remains the case. I'm a little bit more bearish than I've let on publicly as far as equities go, so I don't really think that bodes super favorably for crypto. I guess we'll see, right? But given where I think the VIX is, I think it can spike to 30. What does that mean for equities? I have no idea, but I know that if the VIX spiked to 30, and given how illiquid the crypto currently is, you'd see some pretty big devastation in particular altcoin markets. So that's what I'm seeing. Like flip 28K and I'll become a bull. But until then, I'm gonna assume that is capping price. And on a more granular level, I'm gonna assume that this distribution that we put in from the grayscale highs is capping price more so, but we'll see.
What do you think about filling that wick there, Tommy?
I just feel like if we fill the wick at that point, we're gonna go. I really think we're gonna rip if we fill the wick. But if I think the bull scenario, like I don't think it. The more you grind, I think the more it looks like a low momentum bear flag than like a slow grind into a short squeeze, right? This is something that we were talking about before the show. Like you can grind as much as you want towards resistance, but at a certain point you need to you need to show some buyers some strength. And right now it's just been entirely perps. So I don't know. We'll see. But exciting times ahead. I'm expecting resolution of this range on Bitcoin, within the next 2 weeks. So thank God.
Bear div.
Will, I'd like to serve you a bear div for breakfast.
Yeah, a bear div for 2 hours.
What are we on the 2-hour time frame of bear
Will,
div?
you don't get to selectively pick your time frames, man. I've seen you draw 1 hour bear divs and trade them before.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to scalp out a market on an hourly move.
No, Will. No,
that implies.
You know what they love to do with the div?
They
print the div and then they run the stop.
But
so
they print the div and then they run.
How about this? This is a 4-hour time frame div. Will, this ain't no joke.
All right, show me the daily.
I'm kind of waiting for Ethereum to run its equal highs here. To be honest, I think it might have more to do with that.
they're going to tag the whole number. It's going to go to 28. They're going to tag the whole number, get people enticed, and then they're going to liquidate everybody.
I can kind of see that too.
What, 1670?
Oh, these are
just
really,
going to run 28, and
these are really nice equal highs. Right
Yeah,
here.
I mean it's what, $10 away.
A buddy of ours tweeted this week some really good alpha about how the sweep of the equal highs is the good short, and that you can get a scalp short when you put a limit at the previous high to form the equal high. That's a good scalp short. But the real short, the big move, is when you sweep the equals. So I did pay attention to when he tweeted that.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been missing out on that. They keep on looking for lower highs, but it's just an equal high typically, or a sweep of above, so on and so forth.
Yeah, that looks good.
East at a very interesting level. If you wanted to, I think East at like resistance here.
Oh, oops! Didn't mean to show that.
So,
what was that, Tucker? What chart was that, man? I saw 3196. What chart? Oh my gosh, Tucker!
Oh no!
Oopsie!
Oh man!
Oh, oopsie!
Whoops!
Finance a lot over here. Okay.
So, East's been a pretty interesting play here. Falling wedges into breakouts, into basically trading channels, falling wedges. So like we had this falling wedge, I had this drawn out, and then they basically broke out, traveled the high. So I was like, okay, this looks more like a channel now. And I kind of retraced it back out. And I mean, really, we're at like mid-range resistance almost. Like this is a good spot right here to like, if we're going to reject, this would be the expectations of rejection. It could be the high, it could be the body low here, but like you don't have much more left, right? It's kind of like Bitcoin. Bitcoin to 28K is like Ethereum pushed up to like 1750. This is why Ethereum's not the short, right? It's just not. Like this thing could squeeze you so hard. So like if this ends up coming up here, rejecting the high, I mean, you do have a lot of resistance up here, right? A ton of resistance. So like a move back up here would make sense. Really, I'd like to see
is that, Will?
Drop here.
I can't see it. What level is that?
Where? Oh, what price?
Yeah, where you think we'd get rejected from? Maybe
1750.
I don't think we're that high.
That's really high, Will.
No, that's the highest point, right? The current resistance that we're sitting at or sitting under is sitting around like 1690.
Best I can do is 30 more points. Best I can do. Like that's the Rick.
That's 1690. That's 1690.
I feel like ETH and Bitcoin are catching up to what altcoins did on their first pops, because you're seeing altcoins with a lot lower momentum on this last little push by Bitcoin and Ethereum.
There's a lot of effery going on right now. I will say that. Like if you look at things like Sin over here, like why is this 30% off the floor?
And real quick, Will, then I'll go back to you. I promise I'll give the screen back, just because I know Tommy's like the Matic prison guard. Do you
I gotta run though, guys. But
see, well,
all right, see you, brother.
Do you think that you like this sweep right here?
I do like that sweep. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you love that sweep, or do you
I love that sweep? Because I think if you break above it meaningfully, then you're gonna rip on Matic. Because you're back in value at that point. You're back in value. You're gonna have momentum breakout on the 4 hour, probably the 1 hour as well. So I wouldn't want it to go beyond a sweep of this high, or else it's gonna rip.
Oh, Will.
See you, Will.
Can't help himself. Oh man,
This is a good level right here.
He had to pop back in. Had to pop back in. I love that. All right, we can go ahead and start wrapping things up, guys. Looks like the market's about to get pretty interesting, so I'm sure we're going to go trade that. But as always, appreciate you guys for being here. We had a bit of a marathon show today, almost an hour and a half. So if you could like and subscribe if you haven't already. Like Max said, that the computer really loves when y'all do that. But Yeah, that's pretty much all from us. Like Max said as well, we do have some premium content linked in the description of our YouTube as well as our Twitter if you want a bit more of an intimate look at how we're trading and how we're viewing the market. But other than that, we hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And of course, we'll be back tomorrow. Thanks again.
Whoa.
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 Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks, guys.